Hi everybody. So today I want to talk a little bit about movement. So movement's really important. It's why I made it one of the pillars of Eat Better Feel Better. So I thought today we could talk a little bit about the importance of movement, why we need to be incorporating movement into our day, into our week as much as we can. And then also looking at the types of movement that are relevant to us now that we are women going into our 40s and 50s, perimenopause, menopause and postmenopause. Our need for movement changes as we get older. So what should we be looking out for? What should we be incorporating into our daily and weekly routine? So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about why movement is so important, because I think we forget. We're so used to nowadays having a very sedentary lifestyle. A lot of us, we might spend 30, 40 years sitting at a desk in an office, crouched over a laptop, doing our work. We travel everywhere in the car, backwards and forwards, or even on the train. But then we get home and we might be sitting on the sofa watching TV because we're knackered, scrolling through Netflix and whatever else it is we're doing. So obviously, those things are all important. They're part of how we live our daily lives and necessary for a lot of us. So I'm not saying don't do these things, but I'm just saying it's very important to be aware of how little nowadays we do seem to, as a country, as a species, seem to be moving. And talking about species, I just want to remind you, as much as we're humans, we are also animals, and we haven't evolved to sit and not move over the course of the day. We're naturally meant to be moving. We're naturally hunter-gatherers. Obviously, technology and modern life and the industrial age has moved that all along so quickly. But our bodies are still those cavemen bodies that we started out, walking in the tundra, hunting and gathering, being very active in our day. We didn't need to go to the gym and pound a treadmill to, be healthy and to maintain a healthy body weight in those days, because we were moving all the time. And movement is really important. So when I talk about movement, I'm not just talking about, like I say, pounding on a treadmill at the gym or pumping loads of iron, and trying to do the heaviest weight you can. Yes, they're all relevant, running a marathon, whatever, is all relevant. But I'm talking also about using your body for functionality, because as we get older, we really want to be able to move our bodies. We could spend probably, we're living longer, we're living well into our 80s, 90s, the person's been born today, apparently is going to live to 120. So it's really important that we embrace our functionality, and we really sort of take note of longevity and how important it is that we age well and we age healthfully, so that we can continue to be active well into our 80s, well into our 90s. If you use it or you lose it. So as soon as we start sitting and not moving our bodies and not doing all those things, we do very quickly lose it as we get older. So it's really important that you maintain that movement all the way through. So we also know that a sedentary lifestyle is a really big marker for a lot of chronic conditions, chronic diseases, for unhealthy aging. So again, another reason why we want to be moving. And we also know that our muscle mass is a real indicator of how healthy we are going to age. So somebody with a higher muscle mass, more muscle in their body, is going to age better than somebody with more body fat and less muscle making up their body composition. So again, another reason why we need to be moving and maintaining our muscle mass as we get older. When we move, when we incorporate movement into our day, whether it's official activity, exercise, or if it's just general movement over the course of the day, these things are really important, not just for our muscle mass, but also it helps to create energy. So it gives us more energy. The more we move, the more we feel we want to move. So that creates this cycle of energy that keeps us going over the course of the day. It's very natural when we're feeling tired and lethargic to actually want to collapse on the sofa and not do anything. But that's the wrong thing to do. If you are feeling tired, sometimes going for a walk in fresh air can really revitalise and re-energise us. So it's really worth bearing in mind that when you move, it actually gives you more energy. It's also important because we need oxygen, and when we exercise, when we move, when we breathe properly, we're taking oxygen into the lungs, and through our movement of our body, we're pumping that oxygen in our blood and the nutrients in our blood all around our body. So again, movement's really important for getting that essential oxygen and nutrients around the body. It also helps us to detox when we move, again, because we're moving all those systems and the blood around the body and all the fluids around the body. It's going to help you detox better. So if you're somebody that's suffering with a little bit of edema, a little bit of bloating, a little bit of swelling, a little bit of inflammation, again, movement is going to be really important to help clear that and get that moving again. It's great for our mood, you know, when we do move, when we get outside, when we partake in maybe, you know, a walk with friends or a little bit of gentle exercise, it can really be uplifting. It's really important for our mental health to get up and move. And also, like I say, it's really good for weight management and for maintaining a healthy BMI, and it's also good for hormone balance as we get older. So lots and lots of reasons why we want to be incorporating movement into our day and into our week. So what kind of movements do we want to be focusing on in Eat Better, Feel Better? So the first type of movement I want to talk about very briefly is NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. I always hesitate on that one, but NEAT. So what it is it's basically, it's the energy that our body's using when we're moving, but we're not doing proper exercise. So when we're not running, playing tennis, swimming, whatever it may be, but we're just moving about our day. We're walking up and down the stairs, we're cooking a meal, we're doing some gardening, we're walking from one room to the other, whatever it may be, moving our hands while we're talking. All these things as our non-exercise activity thermogenesis. We're creating energy, we're using energy, and that's creating heat in the body. So that's a really important part of our movement in our day. So it's not just about doing an hour in the gym and then sitting for 23 hours of the day on the sofa. It is about moving over the course of the day, keeping that body going as much as we can, you know, little spurts here and there rather than sort of being sedentary for long periods of time. A lot of people ask about cardio. Is cardio a good form of exercise to be doing as we get into our 40s and 50s and late 30s? So that one, it really depends on what your goals are. Of course, cardio exercise is great for cardiovascular health. So again, it's going to help getting oxygen around the body. It's going to help improve our heart health, our heart muscle. So yes, it has definitely got a place in our exercise regime. But I'm going to sort of caveat that by saying it is also really important to be aware that sometimes these long periods of cardio exercise can actually put quite a lot of stress on the body and spike our cortisol, and that's going to upset a lot of our hormones, and it can also cause an increase in belly fat as the cortisol builds up in the body. So cardio, yes, but if you want to kind of intersperse it in with other bits of exercise and do maybe sort of, you know, a 5k run is probably going to be enough. It's not necessary to run, you know, a marathon every week in order to maintain a healthy weight. Exercise in that way is not actually for weight loss or for well-being. It's pure cardio, and it can actually put quite a bit of stress on the body. What I do advocate a lot for women over sort of 40 is to be doing some weight training when we can. And it can just be body weight. It can be things like planks, like walking, you know, like press ups and things like that. Things where you're just using your body. Squats would work as well. Anything that's using your body weight and sort of creating a little bit of resistance against the body, that's going to be really great for starting to build and maintain that muscle mass that I spoke about earlier. Of course, if you can bring in some light weights as you're working out, that's always going to help, it's going to improve, and you can gradually build those weights up as you get stronger. If you're somebody that goes to the gym a lot and you train a lot, then you might find that actually shifting some of your workouts around and doing a little bit less cardio and bringing that weight training in can be really beneficial as we get older. So it's definitely worth trying to bring some kind of weight resistance training into your weekly routine. Then also I do like to recommend, if you can, doing some form of stretching movement. So something like Pilates, like yoga, or even just gentle stretching at home on your own. It's really important to keep our joints supple and to keep the muscles relaxed and to keep them elongated and to really stretch everything out. It's so valuable, it's really important for us. So I would definitely say, if you can, either bringing in some gentle yoga or Pilates moves, or like I say, just some very gentle stretching at home, you know, before you get up and start your day in the morning, or maybe in the evening before you go to bed. Just some gentle stretching is always going to be really beneficial as well. But I'm also going to say that the best form of exercise and movement that you can be doing for yourself every day is the exercise that you enjoy. So if you're somebody that loves walking the dog and being outside in all weathers and just getting out there and putting a podcast on and going for a walk, if that's the exercise you enjoy, then really focus on that and build that into your day and really prioritize it. If you're somebody that loves going to the gym, that's great, do the gym. If you like doing a team sport, do a team sport. It doesn't matter. The point is that you're actually doing something, you're moving your body in a way that you enjoy and in a way that you can sustain and keep going for a longer period of time, you know, for months and years as you're going on this wellness journey and you are healthily aging and approaching midlife with real energy and vigour. So I hope that's really helpful. So just to summarise, movement is really important for you to feel better. If you want to feel better, you need to be moving. So think about bringing in some weight training exercise or some body weight exercises, some gentle stretching and some general movement over the course of your day. Try not to be sedentary for too long, and that's really going to help you to feel better.